One of the more famous symbols in the city of Philadelphia, amazingly. Not in Hollywood, but in Philadelphia. Rocky Balboa. Welcome inside Citizens Bank Park. I'm Drew Goodman along with Corey Sullivan and Ryan Spilborghs in front of Game 3 of this 4-game set between the Rockies and Phillies. The Rockies have captured the first two. They're 6-2 on this road trip. Charlie Blackmon, he's been pretty decent of late. A couple of bombs last night. He loves Philadelphia. In fact, he was searching for real estate today in Philadelphia.
He should just buy something here at Citizens Bank Park. He should buy a home plate.
Well, he pretty much owns Citizens Bank Park. He was looking for additional real estate. Here's the Southwest batting order for the Rockies tonight and Buddy Black. DJ will follow Charlie, then Nolan will bat third. Cargo, he's starting to swing it. He's up to 241. Ian Desmond behind him. Given another day off from Mark Reynolds in this deep lineup. Gerardo Parra, he hit a home run yesterday. Trevor Story, welcome back to the lineup. Trevor's at shortstop batting seventh. Tony Walters, and then Tyler Chatwood. Well, this is an interesting one. Jeremy Hellickson is getting the start. He's got a great record. He's 5-1. How about this? You know, Philadelphia has really been struggling. They've lost 19 of 23. The last 3 times they've won, Hellickson's been on the mound.
They haven't won a non-Hellickson game since May the 1st. Vinny Velasquez won that game. Jeremy Hellickson, very under the radar, very underappreciated. Former 2011 Rookie of the Year. His stuff, it's the changeup that allows him to become elite. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, not a big fastball, but this guy knows how to pitch. He knows how to change velocities. He knows how to mix in different pitches in the zone. I think when we watch a pitcher like this, a Hellickson with the fastball changeup combination has given the Rockies fits over the course of this season.
Take a look at who's behind him defensively. Once again, Andres Blanco's at third base. Michael Franco's kind of in the doghouse. He hasn't been swinging it, and they haven't liked his body language, according to Pete Mackanin. Altair's in left. Odubel Herrera, good center fielder. Michael Saunders back in there in right field. Andrew Knapp, after hitting a home run, gets another start behind the plate. Joseph Fernandez on the right side. Galvis with Blanco on the left side. It is a pretty night. It is cool in Philadelphia. When we first got here, the weather forecast was awful, and it did rain quite a bit on Monday, but it's kind of cleared out. Tuesday wasn't bad. Today is okay as well. When the Rockies were here last year, Spilly, do you remember how humid it was?
Oh my goodness. Well, I always thought it was sunny here in Philadelphia.
Not when they're not playing well. So here we go. Charlie steps in, leading Major League Baseball in a number of categories, including RBIs. In fact, we'll start out the evening with this stat. 7 home runs in the last 5 games at Citizens Bank for Charlie. His 40 RBIs in 47 games is the fastest a leadoff hitter has ever produced 40 RBIs in the history of the game.
The history.
History. No leadoff guy had ever produced 40 ribbies in 47 games, or anywhere close, to be honest with you. I think 53 was the previous mark.
You think somebody's going to finally take notice that Charlie Blackmon's good?
We were sitting down with a scout today, an old friend of yours, and he was just raving about him.
Took long enough.
Talking to Matt Stairs, the hitting coach for the Phillies this afternoon, and he went on and on about Blackmon. 1-1, pulled sharply at first, and guess what? Charlie's going to reach, and Phillies fans are going to just moan and groan. They've been in a horrible place. A routine ground ball to Tommy Joseph. He doesn't handle it, and the Rockies have the leadoff man aboard.
Well, Charlie hits the baseball hard. Top spin towards Joseph, and it just eats him up. As soon as it hits the infield dirt, it bounces up, and Joseph not able to find the ball quick enough to get the ball to Hellickson, who is at first in time. And there was plenty of moans and groans. I think those were coming from the dugout out of the Phillies. Might have been the coaching staff.
Yeah, from everywhere right now. So now DJ gets an opportunity against Hellickson. squared around to bunt. Thirty-year-old Jeremy Hellickson. And that misses 2-0. Hellickson has always struggled against the NL West. 5-10 with a 5.57 ERA. For a guy in his career who has very solid numbers, but not against the West. Runner going, and the throw is going to be in time to get Charlie. Knapp got Charlie by a bunch.
For the season, Charlie has not been very aggressive on the base paths. That's pretty much the only knock on him this season. What looks like a hit and run. Sinker up and in. Makes it easier for the catch and release. Charlie didn't really have a shot. I think he'll do. Bud will try to push the envelope. DJ showed bunt for their very first pitch. And with Hellickson's a high contact guy, not a lot of strikeouts, and over 1,000 innings pitched at the major league level, only 758 strikeouts. He's also giving up less than a hit per inning. He knows how to pitch, and so the Rockies probably trying to take advantage of that.
He doesn't walk guys, he doesn't strike out guys. This is going to be Saunders in right, 2 outs. In fact, to embellish what you're talking about, he has struck out 2 or fewer hitters in 7 of his 9 starts. You don't ever see numbers like that. Two outs, and here comes Nolan.
I heard a bat slam and a helmet slam coming out of the Rockies dugout. Probably DJ upset with that at bat.
Well, he got a 3-1 pitch, and guys are in hitters counts. Spilly, I imagine 2-0, 3-1.
Yeah, you get upset about that. I think he's probably more upset about the swing and miss. If that was a hit and run, not putting the ball in play.
Hard sinkers in there, 1-1. Rockies have won the first 2 ball games by a combined score of 16-3. It's down low, 2-1.
Well, how about ever since the shutout in Minnesota, the last 5 games for the Rockies, they've averaged nearly 8.5 runs per game.
Rios shut them out 2-0, and since then they've hit 10 home runs in 5 games. And this ball's pretty well hit to right. Saunders going back, and he leaps and makes the catch. He takes at least a double away from Arenado. There was an error in the first inning, but Charlie was erased trying to steal, and then this catch by Michael Saunders. off he generally does for Philadelphia. Let's take a look at Pete Maccannon's lineup. He'll be followed by Freddy Galvis this evening in a lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Aaron Altair has been their best hitter, especially in the month of May. He's at .313 overall. He's producing a lot of extra base hits. Tommy Joseph, Andres Blanco, Odubel Herrera last night had his first multi-hit game in a couple of weeks. Andrew Knapp homered in his final at bat. Michael Saunders has been struggling. And Jeremy Hellickson 2 for 16 this year. Tyler Chatwood has the baseball. He's 3-6, and he has struggled with command mightily in many starts this year, and he gets a first pitch swing from Cesar Hernandez. The arsenal is outstanding. It's all about throwing enough strikes.
And he hasn't. It's below 50% strike percentage, which is incredibly low.
This is looped to left. It's going to go foul. I'm a little surprised, Spilly, that Cesar Hernandez, given that Tyler has struggled with that, fired at the very first pitch of the ballgame.
We knew coming into this entire series that the Phillies like to swing first pitch. They lead baseball with the best average in first pitch.
.02, and that's fouled off. Corey, I know that Chatwood felt during the time between starts when he threw his bullpen that he found something that is going to allow him to pound the zone like we've seen him do in periods in the past.
I think he really was focused on release point. And, you know, he has had Tommy John twice. Having had it, I know the struggles of your shoulder can feel a little iffy some days, and when that happens, you can't really find your release point. And I think that's really been the focal point for Tyler Chatwood. It really does start and end with fastball command, though. And if he's going to attack the strike zone, he's got to be able to find that release point.
Line drive to Trevor Story, positioned perfectly, and Hernandez is retired. Let's take a look at the Rockies defenders. Good to see Trevor Story back in there. Got to play in 3 ball games and also pinch hit over the weekend for Albuquerque. The shoulder's plenty healthy. Cara Blackmon and Gonzalez in the outfield. Arnado DJ, Ian Desmond's at first base. Mark Reynolds getting a second day off in a row. He is fine. But it's good to see Trevor back 100% healthy. Here's Freddy Galvis. And a good curveball.
I talked to Bud Black earlier in the week, and there was a slight adjustment in the last frame that Tyler Chatwood pitched in Minnesota as he struggled to go through 5 innings. But in that 5th inning, Bud told him, your front side, that arm, the glove side, it was getting low. And what happens is when the glove goes low, when it goes down, front elbow's not up, his arm will leak, and so it doesn't allow him to throw in line with his target. So the adjustment that Corey was talking about was making sure he keeps that front elbow tall and then follows it up with his good release point.
He's due for one of those dominant Chatwood starts. He'd love to have one tonight. That's a little bit high. 3-1.
You can also tell, I think, rhythm-wise, he's pitching at a faster pace, but mechanically he's slowed down. He's not as quick.
And he walks Galvis. Join in on the conversation tonight. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions to Twitter or Instagram. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk, and you're in business. So Aaron Altair will come up. And the stuff is so good, you know that he can survive, as he did in Minnesota, for 5 innings where he really was all over the place. 5 walks, but he only gave up 2 runs.
It was 6 straight games. It has been 6 straight games with 3 walks or more. His walk percentage in 2017, 3rd highest in baseball. (22 of the last 28 of his walks have all occurred in less than 22 innings, which is pretty incredible.
That's in there for a strike. Altair is 1 for 3 lifetime against Chatwood. His other 2 at bats he struck out. Galvis can run, and he got picked off. Chatwood with the quick feet. He had taken a little baby stride towards second, and right when he did, that's when Chatwood picked.
First inning troubles for the Phillies already with an error now picked off at first base. Good timing by Chatty. A great tag by Ian Desmond. We haven't seen him apply a tag at first on a pickoff yet.
Yeah, nice when you can do that after the walk. Now 2 outs, nobody on for Altair. Two and 1 on Altair, and a ground ball bounce foul. Aaron has been so good in the month of May, though it's been overshadowed by all the losses. He's second in the National League with 13 extra base hits this month. And tied for 4th with 6 home runs in May. 96 is away, 3 and 2.
Chatty averaging 16.3 pitches per inning. Right at 15 right now.
And he didn't offer it. The breaking ball is a hard slider, so another walk. Tommy Joseph hitting .358 his last 17. It's one way of keeping the arms from getting fatigued.
Oh, is that popcorn?
We had enough last night, Spilly. Jammed shot out of play. You actually could eat more popcorn after last night.
Sure. I'd be happy if the Fanatic.
Did you lock the door on your way in tonight?
Yes.
It's a fire hazard. He's not allowed to.
Why doesn't the Fanatic pick on you tonight, Corey?
I paid him to go take care of you guys.
Snap throw, and diving back in is Altair.
I tried to get it in my mouth. It's just going all over the place.
Yeah, we actually go ahead, Drew.
There's like 6 inches of snow up here, Sully. There was popcorn. There's going to be popcorn in this booth for the next like 11 years. And this is chopped foul.
He took it easy on you, though. I heard that he left half of the popcorn in the bottom of the bucket.
Did you see how big that bucket was? Could have fed the whole stadium last night. I'm watching that popcorn girl. She's still doing. She's walking down the aisle right now, balanced with that thing balanced on her head. That's talent right there. 1-2, and sharply hit to Trevor. He'll go to DJ, and that's all for the Phillies in the first. There were 2 walks. Chatty had a pickoff in there as well. No score. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores and by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. You know who that is there? That's our favorite person in baseball. It's Frank Two Scoops.
I had 3 tonight. Frank 3 scoops.
Frank 3 scoops for you.
There's Jack.
The most popular guy in baseball, and
the nicest human ever.
He is wonderfully nice, and his ice cream is wonderfully good. Here's a line drive to center, and Cargo keeps cranking out hits.
Not a shock.
Corey, did you get your ice cream we sent you?
Yeah, he's good. How about Frank told me before today, he saw me, he goes, now Spilly, you have to eat your greens first before you have dessert. And he goes, since when did you ever start telling me that I'm not allowed to have dessert first? He usually encourages me to have an ice cream, then a salad, then another scoop of ice cream, and then the main course.
Well, as an ex-athlete, he's worried about your waistline.
Hey, guys, I got to be honest. Spilly, thank you very much for bringing that to me. That's a good teammate. You get 2 teammate points.
Yes.
There you go. Here's Ian Desmond. He's trying to be a good teammate and knock Cargo in.
I told you Cargo was going to get hot.
Yeah, Cargo last night, 2 for 4. Desmond had a double last night in the 4th inning and scored a run. Hit it off the scoreboard and right. And that's a called strike. It's 0-2. Tom Woodring is behind home plate. Ron Culp at first, Jerry Meals, the crew chiefs at second, Chris Conroy's at third. There's Tom. And it's grabbed by the former Gold Glover. Good throw on to first. Safe. Pretty good play by Hellickson. So Desmond switches places with Cargo, 1 out.
Well, Hellickson does a good job to field his position and then make sure he gets an out. Cesar Hernandez acting like a first baseman. Again, 2 good plays by 2 different players. See the stretch on the Subaru Supermo. And then staying in there long enough to get the throw off. It's almost like he was looking at Desmond running down the first baseline versus looking at Tommy Joseph at first.
Parra has swung it well in this series. He's found the barrel quite a bit. And that first pitch misses to Gerardo, a guy who is immensely popular with his teammates, fun-loving guy. Parra last night, RBI single in the 4th, eventually scored in that big 4th inning for the Rockies. They scored 5 times. He had a home run his next at bat. Desmond, one of those guys, we've talked about it, fellas. He does not like the step and a dive approach to getting back to the bag, which is taught universally. He likes to go in to that back corner standing up.
Ricky Henderson, same thing. Ricky would always get back into the bag. I mean, that's close.
Have you guys talked to him? I'm wondering if it's a thing that he's trying to protect his hands.
It might be.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of base runners now are using that oven mitt to protect their hand. And it's not an actual oven mitt. I mean, I think people understand it's not an oven mitt. It just looks like one.
It does look like one. Hellickson's one of those guys. He's going to do everything right to give his team a chance. And this year, he's been the Phillies guy. Talking about the record 5-1. He's made 9 starts. The Phillies have won 8 of them. Pretty impressive on a team that's 15-28. Rockies last night won their 30th game of the year. First time in franchise history that 30th win came in the month of May. They're 8 days ahead of their previous best pace. They're 14-7 in May. And this is sharply hit. Nice play by Hernandez for one on to first. That's a double play.
Great play.
That's a tremendous play by Cesar Hernandez. Now the Phillies like their young middle infielders, Hernandez and Galvis. You see why.
That's a phenomenal play.
That at second base, they're saying he's out still. That's interesting to me because they got rid of the neighborhood play, and I'm a big proponent of getting the neighborhood play back in to protect middle infielders. Watch this play at second by Freddy Galvis. This is a great play by Hernandez in the flip, but you have to catch the ball while you maintain contact with the bag. That's the rule the last year, 2 months. So watch Galvis, ball and glove, and the foot's off the base. So Buddy challenged it. When is it a catch, Spilly? Now there's daylight there. To me, again, I like the daylight play because I think it protects middle infielders, but since they changed the rule, he's not on the bag there.
Technically not. It's just these type of plays, unless they have clear and convincing evidence, there's no way for them to overturn the play. It'll just go down as stands, the shades of gray. That's the middle option for an umpire. Whatever was called on the field, it'll stand. I'm with you, though. This ball isn't in the glove till...
but I mean, right there, even if you go back a frame or two, say, okay, when is it a catch?
And is he on the bag right there? Is he on the bag right there?
I'd say he's on the now.
Is it? I mean, that's hitting glove. It already hit the glove. Yeah, see, that's the problem. It's not quite enough to really sell the umpire that it was clear and convincing evidence to overturn that play.
You know what I think it comes down to? Is there are more and more plays, it appears, that whichever way it was called, it's just easier to stick with that unless there's a preponderance of evidence to the contrary. So anyhow, it's a 4-6-3 double play. And now we go to the second inning. Andres Blanco, Odubel Herrera, and Andrew Knapp, 5, 6, and 7 for the Phillies. Last night, After getting just 3 hits on Monday night, they did come up with 8 hits, but scored just 2 runs. In their final game in Pittsburgh, they were 3 hit. So they have 14 hits over their last 3 ball games and just 3 runs. The Rockies would like to keep it that way. So they get out of town. Here's the 0-1 on Blanco. And a mid-90s fastball. It's 0-2.
I think Blanco took that approach up there that you were talking about, especially after the 2 walks by Chatwood in the first inning. You could tell he was eyeballing until he got a strike.
I think that's the approach you take against a guy like Chatty right now, wouldn't you? Take until you get a strike?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to make him get strike 1. And if he's not going to do it, you got to go.
And Sully, you always hit near the top of the lineup typically. I mean, you don't even need somebody to tell you that. That's just having good baseball IQ, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you see averaging, you know, 3 or 4 walks a game, as a leadoff type, you've got to make him earn strike 1. Because otherwise, you're going to be in great hitters counts anyway.
Chatty decides on a changeup, and he bounces that 2-2.
Blanco made his major league debut for the Kansas City Royals back in 2004. He's bounced around with several different teams: Kansas City Royals, the Chicago Cubs, Texas Rangers, and for the last 4 seasons, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, he was 20 when he came up, and the bat went flying.
And Desmond made a great play at first.
Hands it to Mickey Morandini.
Do we have it on the Subaru Supermo? Break down his defense at first. Yep. See, here's the glove. Picked up.
Did he get an assist for that?
I think that's a 3. What would you consider the first base coach? 1 BC?
Yeah. And now it's full. 3-2. He walked Galvis and Altair back-to-back in the first inning. And swung on and missed on a fastball up and away. So Blanco, the first strikeout this evening for Tyler Chatwood, and that'll bring up Odubel Herrera.
Brandon Webb was a pitcher with a great sinker changeup. And as a collective group for years, the Rockies decided that they were not going to swing until there was at least strike 1. Troy Tulowitzki's approach was actually to take till 2 strikes.
His was an absolute turbo sinker. And if it started thigh high, it was going to end up out of the strike zone.
That's on the corner. Could you read the spin on it, the sinker spin initially, but it was still didn't matter? There was no way to get square it up?
It was so late, and you mentioned that changeup, Philly. His was one of those that looked exactly like his fastball. It was a 2-seam changeup with the same grip, it looked like, and it also fell out of strike zone. That's what made his sinker so effective, is you didn't know if it was the sinker or the changeup.
Remember, guys would swing at changeups and they'd land 55 feet in front of home plate.
Used to call that the Bugs Bunny changeup, right? 2 balls and a strike on Herrera. Odubel's a talented player, good center fielder. Last year he was an all-star, but since the all-star break, he's lacked consistency swinging the bat. And that's a broken bat roller. DJ gets a chance to participate. 2 outs. Here comes Andrew Knapp. Andrew Knapp last night in his first 3 at-bats, not much success. There's a new hitting coach in Philadelphia. Knapp was intentionally walked 2 strikeouts, and Matt Stairs, before his 4th at bat, went to him and he said, I want you to move off the plate and act like you're going to dive at the baseball. You know, usually you tell hitters not to dive, right? Because he felt like he was getting beat on the inner half. He had to move off the plate. He looked like a genius because he hit a ball into the seats late in the ball game.
He's even standing at the plate like Matt Stairs. 8-1, had a sinker down and in from Chad Qualls.
Very few hitters in their day as aggressive as Matt Stairs. Here's the 1-1 curveball, 2-1. And I was kidding him today because Billy, you and I were talking about it last night. Matt, who had a great career, one of the all-time great pinch hitters, great teammate, played
until his 40s.
Right. He told me today somebody counted and said you had almost 800 teammates. Think about that. He had almost 800 teammates in his career. That's fouled off. But Matt's philosophy unabashedly was, on every swing I take, I'm trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And he laughed. He said, yeah, I'm not passing that on to all these guys, though.
Swing hard in case you hit it. In the history of the game, there's been 18,988 players.
Swung on and missed. Chatwood gets the strikeout on Knapp. Good solid inning for Tyler. A couple of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 second. We move onward to the 3rd. Let's take a look at our Centurylink high-speed challenge question. This is always a blast. Go to @sports_RM to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during our post-game show. What's the most iconic Philadelphia attraction? I was there today. Jacob and I went to see the Liberty Bell. Was it Independence Hall? We were over there also. Or where you guys had your little race this morning up the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum, the Rocky statue. There's the Philly Art Museum in the background.
That was a legendary race, Drew.
You know what's got to be really troubling? It's a continuing theme, Sully. Every athletic competition of late, for our buddy, he's coming in second. And oftentimes it's to you, which makes it like even worse for him.
No, 10 times sweeter.
For you.
Yes. Yes. But today's might have gone differently. You don't know, Drew.
No, I saw you racing up the stairs. I thought you were in first.
You haven't seen it yet. You haven't shown it.
They haven't shown the complete race?
Right. Yeah, we're teasing. It's a little broadcasting. You know,
really?
Tease for later. Yeah.
You've learned a lot in this first year, haven't you? Or year 2. Trevor Story at the plate, 1-1 on Story. 7-8-9 for the Rockies, facing Jeremy Hellickson.
I have not seen a shift like this put on Trevor Story. That's Freddy Galvis all the way. That's not even the 5.5 hole.
Doesn't matter. This is ripped to left. Welcome back, Trevor. That is a fair ball into the corner, and Story's got himself a leadoff double.
It's good to see you, Trevor.
Got a baby.
I'm sure that felt good.
I'm sure it felt really good because we all know how much he was struggling. Then he gets hurt. He gets not sent out, but he has an injury rehab, and you want to come back and you want to swing the bat like you know you can.
It's like getting a do-over. Trevor gets to just put the first month and a half behind him. Make sure that bicep is nice and solid. No injury. That's right. Welcome back, Trevor.
Different kind of at bat here for Tony Walters because he's hitting 8. You have a pitcher on deck now, albeit a good hitting pitcher in Chatwood, and a high contact pitcher on the hill in Hellickson. See if Tony can hook the baseball here or just drive him in himself. And Hellickson, not surprisingly, works away.
Back to Story's struggles, guys. You know, Spilly, you know, that second year, they have a book on you. They know everything about you, and they know how to exploit it. And, you know, it's that cat and mouse thing. Some people's learning curve takes the whole entire second year. For Trevor Story to start finding traction now, only 6-7 weeks in, that's pretty special.
And also, before he got hurt, we were seeing signs of him breaking out. There were base hits to right. There was a home run or two to right.
Well, there was the walks. For me, it was the walks. I mean, the strikeouts are alarming. The strikeout rate, 48 strikeouts and 111 at-bats. That's a lot of strikeouts. But they all occurred in the first 90 at-bats.
I talked to him yesterday about, you know, going down on the rehab assignment, and he said, you know, it just let me slow everything down. It slowed down my body. And that's something, Spilly, you were talking about. I think in the 3 games before the game he got hurt, I think he was 5 for 10 with a couple of doubles and a couple of walks. And that tells you you're slowing the game down. Because
Exactly.
when it goes bad, it speeds up real fast.
And that's why we felt it was unfortunate for Trevor to get hurt when he did. He was just starting to get locked in at the plate.
2-1. Good eye from Walters. 3-1. You got a 300 hitter batting 8th. You have a guy who hit 6 home runs in his first 4 major league games, batting 7th, on his way to hitting 27 in 97 games last year. One tough lineup to face. Here's the 3-1.
And just because Trevor's back, it's not a given that Bud is going to play him every single day. Bud has been raving about what Amaris has been able to do, what Valaika has been able to do. The numbers that Valaika has put up in a short amount of time, they're incredible. They're great. They're well over 800 OPS. He's played flawless defense. You can look at Amaris's, same thing. But again, we always mention that when you have a team filled with good talent, it's hard to get these guys an opportunity to play every day.
Spilly, to your point, for the second straight day, he has sat down, buddy, because of their depth, the number 2 RBI man in baseball in Mark Reynolds.
Well, were you going to sit Parra hitting a home run last night? Nope. He took quality at bats.
Ball 4. And now they're 2 men on, nobody out. Tyler Chatwood's at bat gets simplified. And this is one of the huge reasons why the man on deck has had the opportunity, Sully, to drive in 40 runs.
Yeah.
The Rockies pitchers are getting their bunts down.
It's something that obviously during Bud's presser we all touched on. And, you know, he said it was an emphasis in spring training that we are going to execute the bunt. It's something that we take for granted a lot of times in the game of baseball, being able to actually get the bunt down. But his pitchers, the starters, have taken pride in executing it.
6 more than the next best club, the Atlanta Braves.
Right now, Hellickson spraying the ball uncharacteristically all over the plate. Typically, this is a high command pitcher. Fastball command is imperative for him to set up his changeup, and right now the fastball is just not there for him.
And that's in there, so it's 1-1. One of the staples, Sully, you have a major league record. 7 straight plate appearances, you got a sac bunt down. And I guess the number one thing is just like hitting. You got to bunt strikes, right?
Yeah, you have to bunt strikes. You got to. I love what Chatwood's doing. He's getting the angle set early, and he's starting at the top of the strike zone, which is the most important thing, because you do not want to move the bat up when you're bunting, because then you elevate the ball. Start at the top, work your way down.
Joseph crashing hard. And the bunt is out in front of the plate. One play, that's first, and that is sac bunt number 22. Good teams execute in every aspect of the game. That's why you're playing less against the opponent, more against the standard you have set. And the standard the Rockies have set is very, very high.
Charlie Blackmon's about to come up with runners at second and third with 40 RBIs for a reason. Pitchers like Tyler Chatwood and Tyler Anderson and the entire starting pitching staff have handled the bat well. They've not been the guys that have struck it out. And when we've seen, is that a word?
No.
I'm glad you said it, Drew.
Well, you should have seen his face snap and look at me. I was like, I don't know. I think it's a because it's past tense. How would you call it?
Struck out.
Struck out.
Oh, whatever. But it's multiple guys.
Struck it then.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Inside on Charlie. Go ahead. We just like to give you a hard time.
The whole point is when you're having the pitching staff give quality at bats, and to your point, what you said the other night with John Weil, looking at these numbers, handling the bat and giving a quality at bat increases the likelihood that your team's going to win.
1-0 on Blackmon. Leading baseball with 40 ribbies. 2 bombs last night for Charlie. And how about maybe 2 more? Here comes Tony Walters, and he will score easily. Charlie Blackmon, a ribby machine. 2-0 Colorado. 42 driven in now for the Rockies leadoff man. It's extraordinary.
It's team baseball at its best. Double, a walk, bunt him over, get him in. First and second, nobody out. Every time, bunt him over. It increases the chances that you're going to score. And when you have Charlie Blackmon at the top of your lineup, you have a 3-hole hitter leading off. You have to take advantage of that. Put him in situations where he has guys on base where he can drive them in. That's his job.
Now LeMahieu at the plate. And this is a line drive, base hit to right. Charlie to second. The offensive execution, the overall execution, because we know what kind of defense the Rockies play. It would be hard to play at a higher level all around, all the elements of good baseball, than what we've witnessed the last 5 days. Corey, would you agree?
I completely agree, but there's something to that. We talk a lot about accountability or responsibility, and when you know the guy behind you is going to pick you up, it takes a lot of pressure off you as a hitter, and it enables you to go out there and simply execute the job you're trying to do. You see that with all of these guys. You know Charlie Blackmon's hitting behind you. Guess what? You know he's going to execute. DJ LeMahieu hitting behind him. If Charlie doesn't get the job done, guess what? DJ will. That's what good teams do.
So here's Nolan with an opportunity. He got robbed his first time up. He drove a ball to deep right field, and Michael Saunders, about 6'4", had to leap up and make the catch against the scoreboard in right.
I think when you're having stretches of baseball like the Rockies are playing right now, you have to celebrate it. There's going to be a stretch this season where the Rockies are not going to play this high quality of baseball as they're playing right now. And right now it is everyone firing. It's on all cylinders, and it's really fun to watch.
But think about this, Billy. Back in April, we kept saying, wait till the offense gets hot, right? Rockies were winning a lot of games, 16-10 in April, but the offense hitting the 240s in the month of April. Well, fast forward a month, the offense is producing as you figured it would. There's just way too much talent for them not to, and now you're blowing some opponents out.
Most runs scored in the National League in the month of May. Third best batting average in the month of May. You knew it was coming.
1 out, 1-1, 2 runs in. And the Rockies are forcing Hellickson to get the ball up.
And Hellickson just not as sharp with his fastball command. Has not been able to command inside part of the plate. Has not been able to command outside part of the plate. So the changeup is not a factor. Might have to rely on it right here, though.
And he misses again, 3-1. Is some of that, as you suggest, his commands off, or some of that induced by the guys who are walking to the plate and a respect/fear factor?
I think when you're watching this lineup right now, everyone's firing on all cylinders. Yeah, there's respect for every one of them. Nolan can spin you in a heartbeat and make this 5-0.
And you glance in the on-deck circle, and you got Cargo standing there.
On that topic of fear and respect, one of the pitches that I think was really key in this inning, obviously, Tony Walters at bat that he walks, but he got a 2-1 changeup down in the zone that he just spit on. He took it, and that is a level of respect from Hellickson, throwing a 2-1 changeup with a runner on second base where he can just roll it over to the right side.
Here's the 3-1, and it is looped to right field. It'll drop. Here comes Charlie around third. The throw to the plate by Saunders, in line but not in time. And good base running by DJ LeMahieu. Once that cleared Tommy Joseph, he never broke stride. He ends up at third. RBI single, Nolan Arenado. 3-0 Colorado. For the 31st time this year, they have produced at least 3 runs in an inning.
They're not done scoring this inning either. I like the at-bat by Nolan. He gets a pitch that he can handle. Second time today he has driven a ball opposite field. This one off the end of the bat. But great read by Charlie Blackmon, and even better by Stu Cole, just pushing the envelope. Stu Cole gave Charlie plenty of time to see his arm waving.
Fun to watch Blackmon run once he gets underway. Those long strides, he eats up a lot of real estate. Cargo a base hit his first time. First and third, 1 out. And boy, he was on that pitch. Corey, you had a good vantage point.
I did, and I let out a little quiet because his timing was perfect, just worked underneath it just a hair.
LeMahieu at third, Nolan's at first. One ball, 1 strike. So the 31 innings this year for the Rockies, scoring at least 3 runs, is second in all of baseball. Put up a crooked number, it can be very demoralizing to the opponent, especially a team like Philadelphia, who's down in the dumps anyhow. 2-1. Talk about spitting on pitches.
I think we might see fireworks right here.
Cargo's as quiet as we've seen at the plate this year.
I think Nolan's expecting fireworks at first too. Watch as he gets a lead. He's taking steps backwards so he doesn't get in line or stands closer to Cargo.
There's fireworks, high and deep right field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Corey Sullivan called it. And the Rockies now lead 6-0.
His swing is poetry in motion.
Sully, you are all over it, man.
You can just tell when Cargo, we said it yesterday, we talked about him being locked in or being in the matrix. He just is seeing the ball, and when he does, you can see the confidence in his setup and everything else. The foul ball straight back, just missed that one, and he just absolutely mashed that one. You watch it, watch his eyes lock in to stay through. I used to think I liked Ken Griffey Jr.'s swing more, and I got to be honest, I think Cargo, it's just the sound of it, too. It's so loud.
That was a rocket.
Batting practice today, Carlos Gonzalez was hitting balls into the second and touching the third deck here at Citizens Bank.
This is down the line. Fair ball for Ian Desmond into the corner, and it's going to wrap around. This could be triple territory. Here goes Desmond toward third, and he'll arrive easily with a three-bagger. The Rockies have the pedal to the metal, and they're not easing up.
That's the cycle in the inning.
This lineup and the length of it, athlete after athlete, bat after at bat, all quality at bats. The ball just shoots it opposite field. Ian never let off the gas. He saw this ball in the corner and knew he was going to stand on third base. Didn't even look at Stu Cole. That's his read. I think Philly fans are already heading towards the exit.
Well, Philadelphia has spawned a lot of great prize fighters through the years. The late Joe Frazier, maybe the most prominent, followed of course by Rocky Balboa. And if this were a prize fight, they would have administered at least 2 standing 8 counts already.
I think the towel was tossed by the trainer.
Parra with the infield in, the 9th man to hit here in the 3rd. Still just 1 out, and this will get in the 7th run. Here comes Ian Desmond. Parra with his 18th RBI. 7-0 Colorado. In 1 inning, everybody gets tacos. Quick and efficient, huh? Don't forget, make your way to participating Taco Bell locales tomorrow. Do it between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. It had a little of everything. It had small ball. It had big boy baseball. It had offensive execution in between.
It's a beautiful inning. It's the perfect inning.
Trevor Story, let's not forget, got it going with a line double down the left field line in his first at bat off the DL.
As we mentioned earlier, the Rockies offense in the month of May leading baseball. 122 runs scored coming into tonight. Now they're at 129, and you're just 2 2/3 into this game.
The Rockies have scored 23 runs in 2 1/3. 2 games and a third. The Dodgers have been playing really good baseball. They won last night in extra innings. They're 2.5 back. Well, the Rockies, Arizona keeps winning. But they're all chasing Colorado. And Arizona won again today. 8-6 over the White Sox. And it's 3-1 on Story.
That's another good sign. You know, I like the 2-0 swing. He let the chain out, took a shot, and then gets a two-seamer in, and he's able to see it well enough because the game has slowed down enough for him now.
Really quiet there also. And Hellickson, this is so uncharacteristic. He's walked a couple. His head is spinning. This is a guy that's had a good deal of success, especially this year. And Pete McCannon, we said it last night, Spilly. Hellickson may have to wear it. Zach Eflin wore it last night for 6 innings. He gave up all 8 runs on 10 hits.
When the Washington Nationals came to Colorado, the Rockies caught the buzzsaw. They caught a team that was clicking. The Phillies, as bad as it's been for their month, caught the Rockies at their best so far. This is a buzzsaw.
When you're swinging it like this, you got to take advantage. And also, when you have a team that's down,
Don't
spiritually, you got to get after them. And the Phillies have lost 19 out of 23. And listen to the crowd. Standing ovation in Philadelphia. The Rockies throw out a 7 spot in the 3rd. Cargo with the bullet 3-run homer, the highlight. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Philadelphia not happy with their Phillies, but they're getting an up-close view of the team with the best mark in the National League, second best in baseball, the Rockies. The Rockies up 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd with Ryan Spilborghs and Corey Sullivan and the rest of our Root Sports crew. I'm Drew Goodman. Michael Saunders batting 8th for Philadelphia. He's behind 0-1 to Tyler Chatwood. Fastball rides high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The 2nd inning touchdown or 3rd inning touchdown is the best case scenario for Tyler Chatwood. Now you can go out there, relax, and work out the issues. I know he's been trying to get through all the mechanical adjustments. Now there's no pressure. You get to go up there on that major league mound. You've been given enough leeway. Now I expect Chatty to go at least. He has to get deep in the game. I mean, with this type of, with his stuff, with this lineup, and with the lead given to him, it's your game.
Well, he needs to for a variety of reasons. One, because I think he'd tell you, hey, that's my job to work deep. That's fouled off. And number 2, given his last couple of outings, he'd like to minimize the pitch total, limit naturally the walks, and he's in a situation where he already walked 2 in the 1st inning, but he had a 1-2-3 second. And give the bullpen another night off. Firing 97-mile-an-hour bullets up in the zone.
It looks better. It's slower, as I said. Corey, you can see it from the side as well.
Yeah, he's a little more deliberate. I've tried to use the railing, too, as like a guideline to see if he works under the baseball a little bit for that release point. He's been doing a good job of settling right in and staying rhythmic.
And that's a good curveball. And Saunders is gone. That is strikeout number 3. He's landing that curveball also, Spilly, far better than he's done the last couple of starts.
Well, baseball loves Tyler Chatwood's curveball. Bud Black loves Tyler Chatwood's curveball. In fact, his curveball's so good, and again, kiss of death. There's not been a hit off of his curveball yet.
I heard you. There's strike one on Hellickson. And there's strike two on Jeremy. Jeremy Hellickson, a native of Des Moines, Iowa, still lives in Des Moines. He gets the curveball. Time to go away. He has struck out 4 out of 5. 2 gone in the third. And that'll bring up Cesar Hernandez.
2017 has special theme date ticket packages for everyone, including Star Wars Night, Yoga Day, Brew Fest, Marvel Superhero Night, and more. Visit Rockies.com/theme dates for more information.
On the outside corner, a strike. Another 97. We've seen about 4 or 5 of those tonight. Corey, you pitched in college at Wake Forest. You had Tommy John. You obviously never pitched after that because in pro ball you were an outfielder. And you had a strong arm once it came back in the big leagues. When did it fully come back velocity-wise for you?
Probably between the 18 and 24 month mark. The first year, like I said, my shoulder and the atrophy it had did not like it. But after that, it was back. It's one of those things, the chicken or the egg. They always try and say, you know, you come back stronger. Well, I'm not sure I ever focused so hard on just keeping my arm strength up until after I had Tommy John.
Here's the 2-2 to Hernandez. That's up and away. You had no issues beyond that once the surgery was done?
I never had an arm problem to the day it snapped and thereafter. I never felt it.
That's interesting. And a swing and a miss. He struck out the side. Chatwood has struck out 5 out of the last 6. He's retired 7 in a row. Speaking of 7s, the Rockies lead 7-0. You know what we're going to do when we come back? We're going to watch those 2 ex-athletes sprint, I put that in quotes, up the stairs at the Philadelphia Art Museum.
Welcome back to Philadelphia. Time now for the UC Health Rocky routine. Corey, you ready to rock these Rocky steps?
I am.
Let's go. Oh, God.
Wait a second. I love all the, the dramatic 80s theme music from Rocky. Who won?
You know who won. First step quickness, always had it.
Billy rendered speechless again.
Not true.
The best part is if you
Not true.
if you want,
Not true.
What's not true? First step quickness or that he won?
That he won, because it's the beauty of TV. It's TV magic. The very first race we ran,
I crushed him.
You ran multiple races?
Finish.
This is ripped to left on a curveball. Chatwood getting involved.
Oh man, I'm worried about these Philly fans right now.
The Philly fans are worried about the Philly fans right now.
Drew, if you watched the tease to break last inning, Rubbin's racing. I pushed him into the wall. He had to go around people. Right? I mean, if you're going to...
Look, the very first one we ran, I ran the entire way, and I looked behind me, and you stopped.
Because that's what we were told to do. I follow directions.
Since when do I ever listen to directions? So technically, I won.
I ran the fastest to the distance we were told to run.
Charlie at the plate. He drove in 2 of the base hit his last time up. 42 RBIs, more than halfway to his total of last year. 82 ribbies for a leadoff hitter last year was remarkable. Charlie had 29 home runs. 17 of those out on the road. And now he's got 42 ribbies. He owns the bank. One ball, one strike.
It's a great hitter's eye at Citizens Bank. Right field is short. Charlie's a pull hitter. He also sees the ball extremely well here.
They're going to get him this time. Freddy Galvis will make the catch. 1 out.
It looks like Charlie might have twisted his ankle a little bit, front ankle.
I just watch him walk back to the dugout, and there he is. He seems to be fine. Who was it earlier this year?
Charlie did that last year when he rolled his ankle.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
But he missed some time.
He missed some time.
LeMahieu singled in the 3rd inning and would eventually score on the 3-run home run by Cargo. Tommy Joseph playing behind Tyler Chatwood at first. Hellickson was a great high school athlete. He was drafted out of high school. He had signed a national letter of intent to go to LSU, where DJ LeMahieu would have been his teammate. Iowa offered him as a 2-sport athlete. They wanted him to play point guard for the Hawkeyes in addition to pitching for Iowa in the spring. That's a tough combination because there's huge overlap.
And it's a decent basketball school.
You think?
Yeah.
It's 3-0 on DJ. How were the Gauchos in hoops when you were there?
We weren't great. Our claim to fame, though, was back in the 90s. Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw.
UCSB beat UNLV and also lost all TV rights for about 2 years.
And that is a 4-pitch walk.
The Gauchos lost it because they were tossing tortillas on the court every 2 minutes.
The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Look at this comparison. The great Michael Jack Schmidt, 548 career home runs, first ballot Hall of Famer, and through 607 games. Big advantage batting average wise to Nolan. The home runs very close. 47 more RBIs for Nolan. We know as good as Schmidt was defensively, nobody's like Nolan. That's fascinating if you think about it.
When you're in the same breath as Michael Jack Schmidt.
When you have better numbers than Michael Jack Schmidt at the same point of their careers.
Yeah, exactly. I was getting to that. If you're in the same breath, like, that's awesome. And then when you look at it and your numbers are actually better.
Nolan drove in his 33rd run in that 7-run third inning with a single to right. Now he's got a 2-0 count. He's got 2 aboard. And the guy who came up yesterday, Adam Morgan, is throwing already.
Do you think when they called down to the bullpen, he said, "Are you sure?"
There weren't a lot of volunteers, probably. Go love that eye, huh? Looks like he went 10 rounds at the Palestra. That's a strike on the outside corner. 2-2.
Last 2 pitches right on the edge of the Subaru strike zone. Home plate umpire Tom Woodring, since we were talking about Santa Barbara a second ago. Tom Woodring was a baseball player at Santa Barbara City College at the same time I was at UC Santa Barbara.
Good program there.
Very good.
That's low. Good. There's 3 good programs. Obviously, where you went, UCSB, Westmont.
Yep, great program. All 3 of them.
Brody Weiss is playing at Westmont.
That's right.
Now.
Brody's been playing. Westmont has won several national championships over the last couple of years. The program's in great shape.
Three and 2, 2 on, 1 out. Rockies up 7-0. And Nolan chases out of the zone. So that's the 2nd out, and here comes Cargo.
Well, this road trip for Cargo has been incredible, and it all comes down to his timing. The leg kick is locked in. Saw him start to get warmed up in Minnesota, and we knew he was going to get really, really hot after he hit his 200th career Rocky home run against Bronson Arroyo on Sunday. Carried straight over into this Philadelphia Phillies series, and now just don't touch him. Stay away.
And I think the origins of him turning it around goes back to when he faced the Dodgers and they threw 4 straight lefties. Line single to center his first time up, and then the rocket 3-run home run to right last inning. And this ball is well hit to right. Saunders is going to get over there and make the play, though. That'll end the inning. The Rockies had a hit and a walk. They'll leave 2 in the 4th. They're up 7-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Rockies won 8-1 on Monday night, 8-2 last night, and they're already up 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning at Citizens Bank Park, which has, other than the postseason, typically been a place the Rockies have not performed well. Last year, they were swept in Philadelphia. Coming into this series, they had lost 20 of their previous 27 home games. But the Rockies have turned the tide the last couple of days. Look to make it 3 straight in Philadelphia. 6-2 on this 10-game road trip, which is the longest of the year. And the Rockies a National League best 30-17. And again, the only team in baseball with a better record, ever so slightly, the Houston Astros, who are having a great season over in the American League West. 2-3-4 for Pete Maccannon's team. This is Freddy Galvis. He walked his first time up and then was picked off. Chatwood's fastball runs outside, ball 1. Chatty has retired 7 in a row. He has struck out 5 of the last 6. Spilly, he has that kind of ability to kind of be a dual type of pitcher, in that when he's on, he's going to get a lot of ground balls. We know that. But when he's on, he's going to get a lot of strikeouts also.
And that's why the secondary pitches, they're so good. And why Chatty hasn't been able to see those big strikeout numbers, because of Chatty's inability to throw first pitch strikes and command the fastball.
And he misses with that fastball. It's 3-1.
If he's commanding fastball, he can throw whatever he wants. If there is no command of the fastball, it takes all the secondary pitches out. No guy's going to swing at it. There's no reason to.
And he loses Galvis for the 2nd time. That's 3 walks. And it'll bring up Aaron Altair, the left fielder.
The first bike to the game of the season is this Sunday, May 28th. Ride your bike and enter to win great prizes courtesy of UC Health. Get more information at rockies.com/green.
Slider for a strike. Chatwood out of Redlands, California. And that's a shattered bat. Nolan for 1 on to first, not in time.
I was expecting Nolan to go to first base. And when he went the short way to second to DJ LeMahieu, I thought DJ was just going to eat the baseball. And then DJ turns around and throws it to first to Desi, and it was a bang-bang play. These guys are so good.
I was watching Nolan from here when he swung it to second base, and you could tell the internal clock in his mind was ticking, and he knew he had to get it there quick. And same thing with DJ LeMahieu. You're right, Spilly, man. These guys are just ridiculously good.
Here's a strike on Tommy Joseph. He had a sharp ground ball to Trevor Story. It ended the 1st inning. That's outside. Chatwood in high school, obviously an elite pitcher. He was drafted in the 2nd round by the Angels, but he was well thought of enough as a shortstop that UCLA had interest in him being a two-way player there. And another chance for Nolan. Same looking play, but this time with Joseph running, it becomes a 5-4-3 double play. That's all for the Phillies in the fourth. We go to the fifth. The Rockies up 7-0. Desmond to lead off. Hey, it's time for the Unlimited Baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Last night, the Dodgers were leading 1-0. They played Kershaw on the mound in the ninth. He uncorks a wild pitch with Randall Grichuk at second. He scored all the way from second to tie up the game, goes 13. And Logan Forsythe, who just came back from the DL, wins it with a double. Chris Sale tonight attempting to become the first pitcher in history to have 9 straight games with double-figure strikeouts. He's facing the Rangers tonight. And this is pulled sharply to Galvis on the backhand. He'll throw out Desmond. Kershaw, by the way, last night, 9 innings. He gives up that 1 run, 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 10. What do you got his ERA at now, Spilly?
Nobody scores on him. I don't know. 0.
That's what it feels like.
He's got a 2.01 ERA. He's getting better every year, by the way. If you look at his numbers, his ERA's gone lower and lower every single season.
That's a strike at the knees on Parra. Chris Sale tonight, to update you, through 5 innings has allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. He's got some work to do. It is a 3-3 game against, excuse me, a 3-1 game. Texas leading in Boston. You do have the luxury in the American League as a starting pitcher, even with a deficit, of staying in there.
Yeah, there's no need because of the DH to use a pinch hitter, because that's oftentimes the decision that a manager will make, is trying to score runs when the pitcher's coming up to hit. Two strikes on Gerardo. Sac fly to deep left in the third. And this ball lined to center field and deep, but Herrera got a good read and a good jump.
Don't miss the action when the Seattle Mariners make a rare appearance at Coors Field Memorial Day, May 29th and Tuesday, May 30th. Purchase your tickets online at Rockies.com.
Albert Pujols in the first inning in a game against Tampa Bay hit career home run number 597.
3 away. 500 home runs, that's a magical number. Heck, 400's a magical number. 600, ridiculous. Story, a double and a walk in his return to the lineup.
Question is, can he get to 700?
Well, his contract, if he sees it all the way through, will give him an opportunity. Will the body hold up?
I believe he has 5 years remaining on his contract. And assuming he hits close to 20 a season,
he's a guy, as Walt used to say about Corey Dickerson, he could hit on Christmas morning. He'll be able to roll out of bed in his 70s, swing the bat. But those legs, the feet, other stuff's got to work to get him to the batter's box, right? 2-1 on Story.
it's only 8 players in the history of the game to hit over 600 home runs.
We keep talking about Cargo, how he's quieted down. His takes look really good. Story's takes tonight against Hellickson. Looks like he's seeing the ball early out of his hand.
Worked a walk his last at bat, another 3-1 count. He's not chasing. That's going to be right on the edge.
And you know what? And it was probably a little bit off, but it's a good decision not to fire at that if you're Story, especially 3-1. Another strike to work with. The proverbial pitcher's pitch. And another walk for Story. Hellickson came into the ballgame. He didn't walk anybody. He had one of the lowest whips in baseball.
We always talk about the book. The book the league has on certain players. Trevor Story's going to rewrite the book coming back off the disabled list because that was a pitch 3-2 slider down and away. The notes were probably being passed around. Hey, just expand the zone. He gets the 2 strikes, expand the zone. He'll chase slider in the dirt. Nope. And that's good for Trevor because now it'll change how pitchers pitch. He'll pitch back into his strength, which is in the strike zone.
Here's Tony. He has a walk tonight, a run scored. Hellickson's whip, walks plus hits per inning pitch. Strong indicator of, to me, pitching success. It hits you allow on how much traffic is out there. 1.03, basically a hitter reaches an inning, which was 5th best in the National League coming in. Well, tonight he has allowed 11 base runners in 11 2/3.
49 2/3 coming into tonight. He only had 9 walks.
And one of the lowest walk percentages in baseball coming in. And that's a called strike 3. That'll end the inning. Just the second strikeout for Hellickson. The Rockies up 7-0.
not 11 o'clock.
Tyler Chatwood coming out for his 5th inning of work as the Rockies lead 7-0. Let me bring you back to April 15th in San Francisco. Chatwood had everything going for him, a complete game shutout, 2 hits during that time frame, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. I want to point something out though. It was the least amount of time Tyler Chatwood threw pitches in the strike zone. He was allowing his movement to create bad swings and misses. The San Francisco Giants also in that game swung at nearly 40% of the pitches outside the strike zone. And when we're watching Tyler tonight, the mechanics are nice. He's slower. We're seeing the late movement. And again, we're watching these Phillies hitters swing at pitches slightly out of the strike zone to get those strikeouts.
One of your favorite categories when looking at a pitcher, Spilly, is perceived velocity. Blanco at the plate. Here's the 1-0. There's something else I would think for a hitter, and that's perceived strikes out of the hand, right? It looks really like a strike, but then when it gets close, it no longer is, right?
Well, but that comes down to movement. You cannot have that unless you have great movement.
And a curveball is hit right to Ian Desmond. Blanco's retired, 1 out in the 5th. And that'll bring up Odubel Herrera.
Derek Lowe was a hard sinker ball pitcher that threw quite a bit of strikes, and his sinker is different than Tyler Chatwood's. Derek Lowe would get on top of his mechanics a little bit more, on top of the baseball and drive it down, so the downward movement of the sinker was different. Chatty has a little bit of a run.
This ball sharply hit, but it's right at Trevor Story. 2 outs.
So what we call arm side run is when the baseball runs towards a right-handed batter. And when you have downward movement with run, that's a very difficult pitch to control. And that was the difference between watching a Derek Lowe who could throw it towards the plate, but with downward movement. So you can understand it's a little bit easier to control that. Brandon Webb, who had the big arm side run with the depth, made it difficult for him to control.
That sinker at 94 is outside on the catcher. Andrew Knapp, a product of Cal Berkeley.
Spilly, one of the new advanced analytics is tunneling.
Tunneling?
Tunneling, and it's exactly what you're talking about. It basically tracks the movement of the baseball and distance from the plate where the movement begins and how much it breaks. And I'm not sure I understand it enough to talk about it much more than that, but the concept is the later that ball moves, the tunneling effect takes control, and then the hitter.
That is the first knock of the ball game with 2 outs in the 5th. Knapp over the outstretched glove of Nolan Arenado. Go ahead, Sully, finish your thought.
Yeah, it's just one of those, it's a statistic basically that tracks how late the ball begins to move and how similar they all are. And when you watch it, you can tell that's a 2-seamer. They're trying to get it in, that little hip shot 2-seamer, catches too much of the plate, able to get that first knock for the Phillies right there, just out of the reach of Nolan Arenado. But the longer you can make each pitch look the same, the harder it is for a hitter.
Angry fastball. Yeah, angry fastball, 95 miles an hour after giving up a hit.
And that's up and away also. 2-0. Tony Walter saying, all right, timeout. Gave up a hit. Let's settle back in. Chatty's glove sometimes, Spilly not happy with him because Chatty's glove takes a lot of verbal abuse.
And bites, yeah, he bites it.
Bites it, he shouts at it. He's fiery, man. And that's beneath the knees. So a walk to Saunders. Hellickson has been called back. And this will be Stassi pinch hitting. We've seen Brock a couple times in this series off the bench. One and 0 on Stassi.
4 innings for Hellickson ties a season low for him. At a start against the Chicago Cubs, May the 2nd, where he lasted 4 innings, gave up 8 hits and 6 earned runs. The 7 by tonight is going to be a season high.
And it's 2-0. Stassi is 1 for 10 pinch hitting this year. Story's playing basically right up the middle. 2 outs. Knapp at second, Saunders at first. And the 2-1 is right there again at 96. It's 2-2. $80 pitches in. Not a bad number. And the curveball's up. Three and 2, player movement with 2 outs. And he pops him up. Story. They drift back, and Trevor's got it. There was a hit, a walk, 2 men left. Chatwood gives up his first knock in the 5th inning. Rockies up 7-0 heading to the 6th. With Buddy Black this afternoon, and one of several topics we discussed was the fact that his team now doesn't hope to win, they expect to win. Here's what Buddy had to say on that subject.
That was one of the messages that I wanted to bring to our group in spring training, the expectation to win, because I think this group can win. And I need them to believe it. I know the coaches believe it, and I think the players believe it. I know the position players do. From my conversations with them, even in the wintertime, you know, getting to know these guys. You know, we have to, again, I think that, you know, the young starting pitching, you know, these guys are confident. They got to believe they can match up with whoever they're playing, whoever they pitch against. So bringing that all together, I think, is what we're looking for. But there's no doubt, I think that the position player group, their expectation is to win.
Here's Tyler Chatwood. He fires at the first pitch from Adam Morgan, who's in relief of Jeremy Hellickson. You guys experienced the greatest success that the Rockies as an organization have had. 2007, Spill, you were on the 09 team that won 92 games that I know you feel was actually a better team than the 07 team. You understand what he's saying, don't you?
You have to come in the field expecting to win. And if you have that feeling, if you have that confidence in your group and your teammates, then it happens. You can compete against anybody in the major leagues. You get it. There's less than 19,000 players that have ever put on a major league uniform. You're one of the best. And if you believe your entire group is better than most, then you'll win a lot of games. Easy put out. Blanco at first.
Sully, your take on that?
I think it's a mindset, and I like the way Bud said it is, you know, these guys cumulatively think that way. They don't think about, you know, how am I going to go up and get hits today? They think, how am I going to go up and help this team win today? And when you start thinking as a collective unit, that's when you start winning ball games, and you absolutely expect to win them on a nightly basis. You don't know how you're going to win. You don't know who's going to be the hero, but you know you're going to win.
Charlie Blackmon tonight, a single, a drive, and a pair in the third inning. He moves that RBI total to 42. It leads Major League Baseball. He's 1 for 3. Reached on an error in the first on a sharp ground ball not handled by Tommy Joseph at first. Blackmon a pair of 2-run home runs off the AT&T sign in deep right center field that is also known around here as Corey Sullivan's sign.
Now, no, it's been renamed.
It's the Blackmon sign now?
Yeah, he hit it twice.
He hit it twice in a game. Corey hit it once in a career.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-1. This is a bouncing ball to second, and Hernandez throws out Blackmon. Let's flash back to 2006. The footage, folks, we apologize, a little grainy. Corey Sullivan on April the 26th. Just another no-doubter off of Sully's bat.
Another no-doubter, or the first ever and only no-doubter?
Come on, man. Just play along.
I did know off the bat. I had 3 really good at-bats against Ryan Madsen in my career, and that was one of them.
Hey, he was no slouch.
No.
2 outs. LeMahieu 1 for 2 and a walk. DJ takes a strike. I was looking at Adam Morgan's numbers.
Not good.
29 at bats coming into today. He's faced 29 hitters. He's allowed 11 hits. 6 of those hits home runs. That's not good.
Not good. 4 home runs in 1 game against the New York Mets.
I had to look at that twice.
Former 3rd rounder for the Phillies back in 2011, coming out of Alabama.
Well, last year he started 21 games for the Phillies. Bad record, 2-11, 6.04 ERA, but he allowed only 4. Excuse me, let me correct that. I was looking at the wrong number. He allowed 23 home runs last year, so the home run has been an issue.
I don't think this is the, I mean, that's obviously a fly ball pitcher, and this ballpark, that's a scary environment.
He allowed 14 home runs in 84 innings in 2015. Yeah, he needs to be pitching like at AT&T. Curveball's outside. Foul tip.
Morgan was a starting pitcher, and now he's learning to adapt to that reliever role. And Morgan has 4 pitches he can work with: fastball, curve, change, and a slider. I think as he develops more into the role of a lefty reliever, you might see him lose 2 pitches and just become a fastball slider type pitcher, or fastball curve, whatever his best secondary pitch. To him, it's the slider, so he will eliminate 2 pitches if those are the pitches that are getting hit the hardest.
Good at bat by LeMahieu. Top of the 6th, 2 outs. The Rockies got all their runs in the 3rd. Blackmon a 2-run single. Cargo hit a 3-run homer. Parra had a sac fly. Nolan had a ribby on a base hit. And this one's foul.
Ninth pitch now coming up.
And a pop up to shallow right center. Hernandez goes out, he makes the catch, and Adam Morgan works a 1-2-3 6th inning. Tyler Chatwood is allowed no runs. He's allowed just 1 hit. Look at Broad Street on a Wednesday night. What we're going to do right now, we're going to show you the Cooney Lexus look back. We look just at the 3rd inning because it was a lot of fun for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon, 2-run single. He likes RBIs. Nolan likes RBIs. He's led the National League in ribbies the last 2 years, the big leagues over that period of time. That off the bat looks like a single for most hitters, except it went about 400 feet. 3-run home run for Cargo. You get the picture. The Rockies put up 7 in the 3rd. They're up 7-0. And that cuts inside, ball 1 on the leadoff man, Cesar Hernandez. A line out and a strikeout tonight for Hernandez. Chatwood did not allow a hit until there were 2 outs last inning. Knapp got an opposite field single. How'd that feel? A broken bat. A roller to first. 3-1 is how you score that. 1 out, and that'll bring up Freddy Galvis.
And this is what Bud Black has talked about with Chatwood, to challenge him because the stuff is so good. You could be one of the best pitchers in baseball if you throw more strikes. He's blowing up bats. Nobody's able to square him up. And when they do, the square-ups happen early in the season. He's given up 9 home runs on fastballs, and all of those have been 4-seam down the middle, not using his 2-seam fastball.
Yeah, stuff-wise, Spilly, the buddy knows pitching, right?
Yeah.
There's no question, stuff-wise. This guy's hard to hit. I mean, there's been 3 games now where you're thinking he's flirting with a no-hitter, right? But he also has games where you're saying, how many guys are you going to walk? The stuff's ridiculous. Very hard to hit. But to be that elite guy,
Have to throw more strikes.
yep. Galvis has walked twice. That pitch is high, 1-1. It's like he's made an adjustment. You and I were chatting during the commercial break, so I don't know if you've noticed this tonight. The last couple starts, he's missed in the dirt. Tonight, it's like, okay, I'm going to make that adjustment, and now when he misses, he's missing way up.
I've definitely noticed it. I'm trying to see if there's anything I can notice. You know, stride length sometimes has something to do with the ball being down in the zone versus when it's short, it's up in the zone. I haven't seen anything that's repetitive.
Does it look like he's repeating his mechanics okay?
Yeah, when he got in a little bit of trouble, it looked like he did get a little bit quicker. You know, he wasn't getting back over the rubber. But again, nothing seems to repeat itself that I can see.
Chatty with 1 out in the 6th. See if he can get 2 outs quickly and work 7. That's fouled off at 98. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown tonight. Pretty good when you're approaching 90 pitches and you can still fire one 98 miles an hour.
Saw this in his start against Minnesota. After 90 pitches, he settled down.
That's a good breaking ball. Chase breaking ball. 1-2. 2-2. Tony's done a good job this series. They get a day off tomorrow. Ryan Hannigan will be behind the dish. And that's a heck of a job. How do you get to that? That's off the plate at 97. Everybody's okay down there. How did Galvis get to that?
Left his feet.
That raised some heartbeats down here.
Yours more than anybody's, right?
It almost got one of the cameramen.
And this is looped to center field. Here comes Charlie. He saw it the whole way. 2 outs. Hey, the Rockies' upcoming home schedule is brought to you by Remax. Rockies welcome in the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend. And we're on the air at 6 on Friday, 6:30 on Saturday, Sunday at 12:30 right here on Root Sports. And then it's the 2-2 at the Mariners. Note the start time on Tuesday. Pre-game show at 4:30, ball game a little after 5 on Tuesday. And Monday, being Memorial Day, is a day game. I'm reminding all of you as much as I'm reminding myself.
I think you need to remind yourself a couple more times.
It's a day game Monday, right? And it's a different start time on Tuesday.
Both of you need to hear it.
Thank you. That's a good curveball again. Altair held up, I think. Yep. 1-1.
What did Corey say?
He said that both of us needed a reminder.
Sorry, mister. Perfect.
96th pitch. Fastball's up. 2-1.
The start of spring training, Matt Stairs told Aaron Altair to rest the bat on his shoulder. It would loosen up his hands and loosen his mind up at the plate. the very first at bat during spring training against his teammates with his new resting the bat on his shoulder, hit a home run. Already off to a great start. His OPS this season well over 1,000.
We chatted about that also today with Matt, and it takes a heck of an athlete to be able to make that kind of adjustment so quickly. You know, we always talk about to make something habitual, muscle memory, 10,000 reps, right? What do you want me to do? Okay. How'd that work out?
Well, he got the instant result, which will help him buy in.
And he couldn't buy into that fastball. He swings through it at 96. Chatwood with another strikeout. That's his 6th. He is safely through 6 innings. 7-0. Philadelphia, it is 7-0. The Rockies leading. They'll have Nolan to lead things off. It's Arenado, it's Gonzalez, it's Desmond. Second year work for Adam Morgan. Tyler Chatwood conversing with Buddy Black. Corey, you're down there. There weren't hugs and handshakes, though, were there?
I did not see any handshakes. There was a conversation. Chatty old Pat Walters on the back, and he's got the towel wrapped around his arm, and he's still on the bench.
He's at 96 pitches, so maybe he'll have the opportunity to get an out or two into the 7th inning. We'll see. 2-0 on Nolan. RBI single in the 3rd. Man, these Rockies are fun to watch. They're fun to watch, and they're really good. One out as Nolan pops out. Cargo coming up. Check this out. You know how Coors Field always gets, you know, the narrative. Well, he did it at altitude. Well, he did it at Coors Field. This is notable home OPS splits versus road OPS splits this year. Aaron Judge had a great year. His home OPS at a great hitters park, Yankee Stadium, almost 1,400. Stupid good. 837 is really good, but a huge difference. Cargo fouls this off. You look at some other big names. Paul Goldschmidt, great player. 1204 home OPS. Great place to hit. Chase Field, 778 on the road. How about Nolan? Almost 1,000 out on the road. He's better, at least right now, out on the road than he's been at home. The whole reason we mention all that, if you're a national writer, look at some of the other guys too. that have advantages in their home park.
Exactly.
This is a broken bat flare foul. Cargo need
The one that stands out for me out of the list of guys is Javier Baez. Over 1,000 OPS, 538 road OPS. Not good.
Yeah, not good. The other road OPSs are fine.
Something about all that too. Every one of those stadiums, the new Yankee Stadium, Stadium in Arizona, Stadium in Cincinnati, and Wrigley, are all unbelievable hitters parks.
I go back to the great Ryne Sandberg, Hall of Famer. He hit 269 in his road career. Morgan with a good slider strikes out Cargo. 269 out on the road. I believe he hit right around 300 at Wrigley Field. He made the Hall of Fame. I'm not suggesting he shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. Rhino was a great player. But nobody mentioned that when they were looking at the resume of Ryne Sandberg. Todd Helton, when he comes up here in a couple years, that will be the only conversation, or one of the only conversations.
You're always going to hit better in your home ballpark. You feel better, you sleep in your own bed, you understand the hitter's eye, everything about your home ballpark. Of course, you're going to hit better at home. I think the Cubs argument has always been a lot more eyeballs watching the players on that field. And to your point, Drew, you mentioned national writers not paying attention and looking in the numbers a little bit more. Because of the Rockies playing at the Mountain Time Zone, it's the only team with their own time zone. It's not Eastern Time Zone, it's not West Coast. People just don't watch the Rockies enough. They will now.
Swung on a miss, 1-2. Had a scout come up to me yesterday, and he covers the National League West. So the Rockies are one of the teams that he has to write reports on a regular basis. And he said people may not be seeing it around baseball just yet. He said this is a legit team. He said they are really, really good. Impressed with all the young arms. Obviously the deep lineup, the defense the Rockies play, and the vastly improved bullpen. Fastball at 95 from Morgan, missed. 3-2 now on Desmond. Desi had triple back in the third, 1 for 3. That pitch was way off the plate. You can see on the Subaru strike zone, it was 3 inches outside. Curveball, and that's a called strike 3. Desmond can't believe it. That looked like it was away, and it was.
Right off the plate on the Subaru strike zone.
Well, there were no pitches in the Subaru strike zone, but somehow Desmond struck out. It's time for our Kubota pitching performance. It's been an outstanding outing for Tyler Chatwood. He's walked 4, but he struck out 6, allowed only 1 hit. He has had dominant stuff, and the hit didn't come until there was 2 outs in the 5th inning. An opposite field line single off the bat of Andrew Knapp. And Chatwood's going to continue on. He gets a swing and a miss on his first offering to Tommy Joseph, the cleanup hitter for the Phils. He's got Joseph twice to hit the ball to shortstop. Actually, once to short, once to Nolan, who turned it into a 5-4-3 double play. Mike Dunn looks like he'll come in for Chatwood. It's got to be a number, don't you think, right now? I mean, he's at 102 pitches. Is it, you had said 105. Is it 1 hitter? Is it 2 hitters? Is it a feel thing for Buddy? Maybe it has nothing to do with the number, just wants to see how the ball comes out of his hand. Whether or not he finishes the 7th inning.
I think you always talk about the stress in the pitches, you know, how stressful the innings were, how stressful the pitches. I'd like to think 2 hitters.
Curveball, strike 3. Man, that was a nasty Lord Charles right there.
7th strikeout in the game for Tyler Chatwood, and the curveball just so filthy. Again, I said it earlier, nobody has a hit against it. See the downward movement.
One of the
Tony
best.
Walters just eats it right up.
Well, you eat up a lot of the new metrics. He has one of the highest spin rates on his curveball in baseball. That fastball rides high to Blanco, a strikeout and a ground ball to first.
Back to the stressful innings or pitches that we talk about. He's had some clear sailing, obviously, since the Rockies scored the 7 runs in an inning. So I don't think they worry so much about pitch count. They want Chatty to get going and get right. And each inning he's been able to check off a box. And, you know, 105, 110, 115 pitches. If he's able to get himself going in a positive direction and continue this, I think that's the end result that they want.
I think the biggest fear for Bud and the training staff is this is a guy that's come off 2 Tommy Johns and trying to limit stress, as Corey mentioned.
This is an easy play for DJ. Waits for Desmond to get over there. 2 outs.
One of the biggest fear factors for doctors that have been examining Tommy John is fatigue. And so that's why they've created this arbitrary number, 100 pitches. They just assume after 100 pitches the arm is tired, which it is.
Well, he's eclipsed his season high twice this year. He's got 105 pitches. In Minnesota, he went 105. And in that complete game shutout of the Giants, he went 105. 2 outs. And Odubel Herrera, 2 ground balls tonight. And that's on the corner for a strike at 96. So the velo's still there.
You can always tell by a manager's disposition on how comfortable he is. You know this is pushing it. He knows he's pushing it, but he wants to see Chatty. He likes where he's at, like Corey said. He wants him to remind himself, get that good muscle memory in there with what he's doing right now to repeat it. But I'm telling you, Bud is stressed. He doesn't like that it's getting close to 110 pitches.
This is 110, and it's fouled off.
I would assume it's like a parent with your child learning to swim for the first time.
I do think, yeah, there's some science behind when a pitcher gets stressed. However, it seems about 10, 12 years ago, we came up with this arbitrary number of 100. And panic sets in whenever a guy gets to 100 pitches, or near panic sets in. 0-2, that's in the dirt, 1-2. And case in point, a bunch of years ago, and I'm not talking about the 1920s, It wasn't all that long ago that pitchers regularly, the horses, you know, 120, 130. Of course, Nolan Ryan famously, you know, threw twice that. Swung on and missed, and that I'm sure will be the final pitch of the game for Chatwood. What a 7 innings. He allows no runs, 1 hit. He strikes out 8 Phillies in 7 dominant innings. Good for Tyler Chatwood. Rockies leading 7-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism, Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. We've traveled to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Game 3 of 4 between the Rockies and Phillies. The Rockies won the first 2, and they look like they're on their way to making it 3 straight. All smiles from Bud Black. Tyler Chatwood, 7 innings, 112 pitches, no runs, 1 hit. He walked 4, but he struck out 8, and only 2 walks after the first inning. 64 of the 112 in the zone. I only remember 1 ball being hit hard. That was a line single to left by Knapp. Morgan's going to give up a base hit here to Gerardo Parra. And for Gerardo, that's his first hit of the night. He had a sac fly back in the 3rd. I'm going to bring up Trevor Story. Trevor, in his return to the Rockies off the DL, has been on base all 3 plate appearances, a double and a pair of walks. Talk about good things happening. Story coming back. I'll have a good night at the plate naturally. He's done that. Tyler Chatwood was much in need of having a strong performance, and he probably went beyond just strong performance. There are more superlatives that would apply. He was dominant.
To me, it was the 7-run 3rd inning. It took all the pressure off Trevor. 0-2 count now because Ron Kolpa called that a check swing. And I think when we look at pitchers getting the lead, and we've noted it many times already on the season, how good the Rockies are when they score first. It just lets you know, because it allows that starting pitcher some comfort. All right, I got a lead to protect.
Back up the middle, and there's 1 on the first to double play.
Rockies baseball is always live at the MLB.com and Batmobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more.
Here's Tony.
Rockies 23-4 when they score first. If the score holds up, it'll be 24-4.
Now the Rockies are also 26 in love when they lead after 6 innings. 1-1. Coming into tonight, you mentioned this early in the ball game, Spilly. In the 5 games since the Rockies were struck out shutout by Jose Barrios in Minnesota, they have now scored an average of almost 7 runs a game, and they've hit 11 home runs. Actually, it's more than 8 runs a game, I should say, since that shutout 2-0 in Minneapolis. 2-2 on Walters.
Barrios threw today 6 1/3 in Baltimore for the win. And if you ask the Rockies guys, they'll tell you that day that he threw, it's the best stuff they've seen all season long. They're still talking about it.
This is line to left center field, and Walters has himself a base hit. Tony 1 for 3 and a walk, and Pat Valleca is going to pinch hit for Chatwood. Pat's done a good job in every role he's been asked to assume. 4 for 12 off the bench. That big 2-home run game against the Dodgers to help level that 4-game set. That gave the Rockies some momentum going out on the road. 6-4 on the homestand. They hang on tonight. They improved to 7-2 on this road trip.
There's one challenge a pinch hitter has in a game that's sideways. When it's 7-0 and you're pinch hitting in the 8th inning, if you're leading off an inning at times because the pinch hitter wants to get there and fire their swing, that it could be, you know, considered one of the unwritten rules. Hey, you're not allowed to swing. But as a pinch hitter, you're like, come on, man. I'm already pinch hitting and I'm not allowed to swing first pitch. Corey, did you ever find that as being one of those unwritten rules where you're like, all right, like this isn't fair?
Yeah, it was, your back's against the wall in that situation, and you almost hope that they throw a ball first pitch just so you can fire at the first fastball strike you see. But it's a tough one, that's for sure.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Valleca. It's the 3rd inning of work for Adam Morgan. He's done a good job. He's only allowed 2 runners. Those are the 2 hits in this inning. Parra, who was raced on the Story double play, and now Walters. While Story was out, the combination of Valleca and Amarista did a marvelous job filling in. And that's going to be a hit. It's going down the left field line. Walters to 3rd, and Stu Cole will stop him there. It's a double for Pat Valleca. Now 5 for 13 in the pinch. And guess who gets to come up with some traffic?
Charlie Blackmon. Valleca's just done everything that Bud Black has asked of him. His ability to pinch hit has earned him the opportunity to get more games to start. And I think even though with Trevor Story, we said this in the open, Amarista's going to play some. Valleca's going to play some.
So here comes Blackmon, Mr. RBI. 2 more tonight. He leads Major League Baseball with 42. He's driven 15 on this road trip. And Bob McClure is going to go to the mound, and he's going to tell Adam Morgan, this guy's really good. Charlie drove in 24 in April, which were the most by a Rockies player in the month of April since Matt Holliday had 24 in 06. Chuck Nasty leads all major league players in hits, in addition to leading the best league in the world in RBIs. He's hitting .468 with runners in scoring position. 2 outs, runners in scoring position, it gets a little better. .571. So look at this. The RBI leaders, they're middle of the order guys, except for Charlie.
And all off to great starts. Zimmerman and Lamb. Lamb hitting home run number 13, as Jenny mentioned.
This is a ground ball toward the middle of the diamond, and it comes up for Galvis, and a throw out Blackmon. That'll end the inning. Rockies had 3 hits in the inning, do not score. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It remains 7-0 Rockies in Philadelphia. Rockies up 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Corey Sullivan, Andrew Knapp will be first up. The Rockies made a pitching change, but first we tell you that tomorrow's starters, Tyler Anderson looking to make it 4 straight strong starts, and he'll try to level his record at 4-4. He'll go against Vince Velasquez, who will make his 9th start. He has an ERA right about 6 this year for the Phils. We will not televise tomorrow. We apologize, but that schedule set up in the winter. We always clarify that there's only a dozen games we don't do, and they're always midweek afternoon games, or in this case, a late morning game back in Denver. And I know everybody's hard at work. So Mike Dunn on here in the 8th inning. 19th appearance for Mike. Basically a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And the first pitch of the inning is high, ball 1 at 93. Knapp, switch hitting catcher, has the only hit of the game for Philadelphia. Clean line single to left. Nolan Leap tried to catch it. Unable to do so by, I don't know, what, 2-3 inches? Otherwise, we're talking about a really special night for Tyler Chatwood, who went 7. No runs, the 1 hit, 4 walks, struck out 8. Good pitch.
Dunn has rebounded nicely after giving up the home run in Cincinnati, his first home run since 2016. Striking out the first 2 batters he saw earlier this week.
Three and two.
Knapp, one of 6 switch hitters on this Philadelphia Phillies roster. Sully, we've been talking about this, have we not? Do you think it'd be difficult to be a hitting coach with 6 switch hitters?
Yeah, that's 12 swings you got to work on.
And Mike loses Knapp.
The first 10,000 fans this Saturday, May 27th, will receive a Nolan Arenado jersey, courtesy of King Supers.
Michael Saunders, a strikeout and a walk. An all-star last year with Toronto, but he hit beneath 200 in the second half, and that's kind of leaked into his first couple of months of 2017 with his new team. Saunders hitting the low 220s.
Saunders in 2004 was drafted by the Seattle Mariners in the 11th round out of Tallahassee Community College. He was later traded in 2014 to the Toronto Blue Jays for J.A. Happ.
Two-0.
As bad as the second half was for Saunders, still ended up last season with a .253 average, 24 home runs and 57 RBIs.
Two balls and a strike. Rockies with 11 hits tonight. They had 10 last night. They had 13 in the first game of the series. They had 11 in the final game in Cincinnati. They had 11 in the middle game in Cincinnati. They had 16 in the first game in Cincinnati. That is 6 straight games on the road, double-figure hits. And when the Rockies out-hit the opposition, they are 22-3 this year. Two on Saunders. And this ball's well hit right center field. Cargo on the move, and it's gone. Michael Saunders gets Philadelphia on the board. 5th home run of the year for Saunders. Dunn's been getting behind in counts a little bit, and he pays for it there against Saunders.
Well, Mike Dunn hasn't been able to locate his slider, relying on his fastball, and right out of his hand, Mike Dunn knew it. Saunders able to extend, get a pitch he can handle out over the plate. When Dunn has his slider, you don't see hitters getting good swings in. When he becomes a one-pitch pitcher like anybody, you become predictable and you can hunt fastball. And if you find a pitch out that you can handle, you can do damage.
Ty Kelly is pinch hitting in the pitcher spot. Got a start last night. Switch hitter. And it's 1-1.
Again, spiking the slider. Not a great feel for that pitch this week.
Now, since he's come back from the back issues, not nearly as sharp as what we saw prior to going down with back spasms. Good spot.
Let's see Dunn try to use his slider. He has 2 pitches to work with. See if he can get the feel for it.
Here's a 2-2, and he got him on a slider. Good pitch. Buried that one for the first out in the 8th.
He gets on top of this slider and he's able to yank it down. It looks like a strike out of the hand and falls right off the table.
Cesar Hernandez. Nothing for 3 tonight for Hernandez. Gets another slider. Well, that's a good one. 3 good ones in a row. Hernandez from Valencia. He's from Valencia in Venezuela. Antonio Senzatella and Felix Hernandez.
Little Prince.
That was a curveball. That's where Sully winters in Monaco. That ball's left up a little bit, and Parra is going to play chase, and Hernandez has a double. So 1 out, Freddy Galvis will come up. I've had to say this a couple times the last couple of weeks. Here comes Buddy Black. You don't want to work this into a situation where you got to get Greg Holland up. And Buddy's going to make a move. So Mike not sharp tonight. A walk, a 2-run home run. He got a strikeout, and then he hung a slider to Hernandez. 7-2 Colorado.
7-2, the best spot on a baseball field during a pitching change in center field. Just letting Charlie Blackmon interview his teammates. Cargo, thinking about what his last at bat was, probably telling Charlie, thanks for the pitching report you gave me. Helped me out a lot. Parr's like, I'm not listening to you anymore, ever. Won't even look at you. Ottavino asked to get the next 2 outs. It's been fantastic. Leading the National League in holds out of the bullpen. When he has his slider, many hitters have no shot. Corey, did you have a favorite group of outfielders that you like to talk to?
You were always in it. You know that. I enjoyed that. Anytime I got to talk to Holiday, I got to poke the bear at the zoo, which was fun. I can remember, honestly, game 163, having a conversation after Scott Hairston hit a homer with Hopper and Holiday about, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened.
Here's Galvis, look out. And Ottavino's first pitch hits Galvis in the leg. And now you have 2 on and 1 out. And Aaron Altair coming up.
Well, this pitch, we know the command issues for Ottavino as he works through his feel. This is one of the worst spots to get hit in the calf or the shin area. Not a purpose pitch, just trying to throw a fastball.
Altair tonight, a walk, hit into a fielder's choice and struck out. And Otto's sliders in there for a strike. Double by Hernandez. And now Galvis aboard. And the wiffle ball slider, it's 0-2.
Altair has been the Phillies' best hitter. 357 with 4 home runs with runners in scoring position. This is a team that has been struggling in every situation.
0-2. Watching the game on the MLB at Bat app while at my kids' choir concert, does that make a bad dad or a good fan?
Possible it would be both.
Check off both categories, yeah. Slider, and Altair knows he's got to head back to the dugout. 2 outs. Just makes you give up that slider.
10th strikeout of the night for the Rockies against the Philadelphia Phillies. That slider completely buckles Altair.
Tommy Joseph 0 for 3. Does he have the audio on the at-bat app? That would be bad, Dad.
Yeah, very bad. Trying to listen to the choir and you hear us talking.
That'd be bad.
Bad fan.
Just watching, multitasking, if you will, while listening to the choir. Good fan.
Great fan.
2-0. Don't let your wife see that tweet.
Delete the tweet. Unless it gets screenshot, and then it'll be on the web forever.
She was watching the broadcast right next to him. She saw it.
Great wife.
And that's a strike, 2-1. In the air to right field. Cargo will move over and make the catch. In the inning, a 2-run home run from Michael Saunders. The first runs for Philadelphia tonight. We go to the ninth, 7-2 Rockies. They're finding other things to cheer about in Philadelphia. Rockies leading at 7-2. DJ LeMahieu's going to lead it off. DJ will face the veteran Joaquin Benoit.
A 39-year-old now making an appearance. First time with the Philadelphia Phillies, joining them this season. 18 innings, 16 strikeouts, 12 walks. He still has a fantastic split finger. Used to have one of the better combinations in the game. Debuted back in 2001 with the Texas Rangers.
That's not good, Matt.
Yeah, bad time.
Not good. We appreciate it, but not good. LeMahieu's 1 for 3 and a walk. And that's a strike at 96. Rockies got all their runs in the 3rd inning. They got 6 of their 11 hits in the 3rd inning. Cargo highlighted the inning with a 3-run home run. 2 strikes on LeMahieu outside. It's 1-2. Jake McGee is up in the 9th inning. I watch Rockies games with my newborn in my arms and change diapers between innings. That's a great dad and a great fan, absolutely.
Yep.
And creating another great fan. Baby ought to be able to recite all of the Rockies' statistical leaders within a year. That too short a window?
No.
That's about right.
Yeah. First words out of the mouth should be OPS.
Outside. 2-2.
39 years old, still running it up there at 96 miles an hour.
Who did we just see? Another bullpen, veteran bullpen guy, 38, 39, 40, who's still bringing it also. This is a bouncer to 3rd. Blanco gets DJ. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow at Root Sports _RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special. And the Rockies do as they've done tonight, score 7 in a game.
Are you thinking of LaTroy Hawkins? We saw him in Minnesota.
No. I mean, Hawk could still bring it when he was 40, but it's somebody currently pitching. I'm looking back at previous Rockies games. Nolan tonight 1 for 4. Fernando Rodney.
There you go.
Fernando's, he's 40 now. He still throws. He's hit 98 this year, didn't he, against the Rockies? 99 maybe even.
Also blew a save in that game that he was touching 99.
Nolan with a 2-0 count. Robbed of a double his first time up tonight. Great catch by Michael Saunders, leaping against the scoreboard in right. Singled in a run in the 3rd, and this one will be routine for Michael Saunders. Cargo had a single in the 2nd. He had a 3-run rocket in the 3rd. Lined out to right in the 4th. Struck out against the lefty Adam Morgan on a slider in the 7th. 2 for 4. Here's the home run. Watch Hellickson's reaction. Like, oh, near whiplash.
He's not the first one to get it.
One and one. Numbers on the move north for Cargo. And Cargo with another base hit. So he's using the left side of that diamond quite a bit the last few days.
He is. You know they're going to try and pitch him away because they know he can do an absolute damage when you throw in. But when he gets those arms extended and is able to stay through the ball, go into left field the way that he has as of late, you know he is absolutely locked in. Right there you see a fastball just a little bit up in the zone from where they wanted it. Cargo goes the other direction perfectly.
Yeah, on Monday, Sully, he had his first 3-hit game of the season. He had 2 hits last night. He has another 3-hit game tonight. So 8 hits so far in the 3 games. Desmond takes ball 1. Desi had a triple and scored in the 3rd inning. Cargo's exit velocity, I know a lot of people on Twitter are wondering how hard he hit that ball. Off the bat, 108 miles an hour on the home run. It's the prettiest swing you will see. And I've said this a ton of times, privately and on the air. As many times as we've watched Cargo, and you guys, when you were playing with him, watch him take batting practice.
It's fun.
It's unbelievable. Never get tired of watching that. 1-2. Matt Stairs was saying the same thing earlier. So, man, that bat stays in the zone a long time, and the ball just explodes, as we all know, off his bat, especially when he gets locked in. One-two on Desmond. And he strikes at Desmond with a high fastball. Cargo's left at first base. The Rockies need 3 more outs to shake hands. They're up 7-2. Out hit the Phillies tonight 12-3. Jake McGee is going to handle the 9th inning for the Rockies. And the numbers on Jake McGee this year outstanding. A whip right around 1. Righties actually hitting far less than lefties. Lefties at 318. Has faced a ton of lefties. Anders Blanco. He's going to lead things off against McGee in the 9th. Adam Ottavino went 2/3 of an inning. Hit a batter, a strikeout, nothing else across. Tyler Chatwood in line for his 4th victory. Blanco tonight a strikeout and a couple of ground outs. Chatwood allowed only 1 hit over 7 innings. And that's on the outside corner for a strike. That's on the inside corner, 1-2.
Fastball 92 right down the middle. Blanco's shaking his head on the Subaru strike zone. Another switch hitter.
Rockies 2 years ago swept the Phillies in a 3-game set here. Their only other sweep here, you were involved. It's a mini 2-game sweep.
2-game sweep?
In the 07 Division Series.
Kids playing the dugout organ.
2-2. You can be hurt tonight at the ballpark.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Usually not in Philadelphia. Swung on and missed. Out number 1. Blanco's gone in the 9th. Reach back for a little more mustard here.
Second strikeout of the night of Blanco. High fastball. When Jake's at his best, the fastball is above the belt.
Here's Odubel Herrera. Ground ball to second, ground ball to short, and a strikeout. That's on the outside corner. The only hitter tonight for Philadelphia that didn't strike out was Galvis. He walked twice and was hit by a pitch. Never really had an opportunity to strike out.
If you are going to be a heckler and you do it properly, right about now, when majority of the fans are gone, is the best time for your voice to be heard. And the players will remember it longer, as long as it's good. Keep it clean. Famously, a New York Mets fan told me, 9th inning of a game at Shea Stadium when it was emptied out, as I was standing up for my friend and teammate, Todd Helton. He looked at the back of my jersey, tried to read my name, and he told me, "Hey, Spibagus, don't even shower. Go straight to the bus."
That is still one of my all-time favorite stories. And truth be told, folks, because it's one of my favorite stories, I call Ryan Spilly on the air most of the time. But off the air, about, what, 70% of the time I call you Spilligus.
Yep.
Spilligus. Right? Who the heck are you?
Exactly.
Get on the bus. Don't even shower. Which broke up all of your teammates.
Yeah, I'm known to my teammates sometimes as Spilligus.
2-2. And now 2 outs in the 9th inning. 2 strikeouts for Jake McGee.
Jake using his big fastball tonight. Again, fastball above the belt. Works to righties, it works to lefties. I can't tell. Is he cheering for the Rockies or the Phillies?
That is angry Philly fan. Much to the amusement of that gentleman on his left. He's going to have a couple stories tomorrow at work. Andrew Knapp fouls it off. He's going to be doing stand-up at the comedy shop on Chestnut Street afterward.
I think he's doing a little Matt Foley Saturday Night Live skit by the late Chris Farley, the guy that lives in a van down by the river.
Ball at 2 strikes. Rockies a strike away.
As a hitter, you can hear that fan screaming in your ear.
Of course.
Normally you can't. Normally you don't hear a thing. Right now you can hear angry Philly fan barking in your shoulder. That demon on the shoulder, that's what it looks like.
Save one for Saunders here. 1-2 on Knapp.
Oof.
I guess Tom Woodring wants to umpire more baseball. That looked pretty good. It was really good. Center cut right at the knees or slightly above.
He might be enjoying what the heckler's saying and might want to hear it just a little longer. And I've always said catchers get a better strike zone than most. That's your partner. That's your buddy. That's your friend.
Tony can look back at Tom Woodring and say, hey, what about me, though?
It's like, I gave you one. Close, kind of. Whatever.
Another 2-2 upcoming. And on the ground to first. That is the ball game. Rockies win it tonight 7-2. They've won the first 3 here in Philadelphia. Knapp did not save an AB for Michael Saunders. The Rockies have won 8-1, 8-2, 7-2 in the first 3 here in Philadelphia. They're now 7-2 on the road trip. They're now 18-7 out on the road. More good news, they're 31-17, best record in the National League. A lot of good things happening for Colorado. Tyler Chatwood was one of them tonight. He was special. No runs over 7 innings. He allowed just 1 hit. That didn't come till there were 2 outs in the 5th inning. 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. Cargo hit a 3-run home run. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. The work of Tyler Chatwood tonight. He overmatched the Phillies with an array of pitches, but that fastball, which was sitting between 95 and as high as 98 with great movement. And he had the Uncle Charlie working also. Terrific night for Tyler Chatwood. He improves to 4-6. And the Rockies roll on. They are now 31-17. The Phils drop to 15-29. Plenty to do on the Toyota postgame show. We get you to Jenny right now.